Hello and welcome back to Instagram for Bosses. I'm Andrea and my mission is to simplify Instagram marketing so you can consistently attract ready to invest clients without posting every day or living on your phone. Today's episode is one I've been wanting to record for a while now. There's a question I get asked a lot and it goes something like this. Andrea, how do I know when it's time to stop doing my own Instagram marketing and actually bring in someone to help? And I love this question because it tells me the person asking it is already thinking seriously about their business growth. They're not asking it because they've given up. They're asking it because something isn't adding up anymore and they're trying to figure out what to do about it so that they can continue to grow their business. So today I'm going to walk you through the specific recognizable signs that your business has outgrown DIY Instagram. And if you find yourself nodding along more than a couple of times, I want you to pay close attention to the end of the episode. Let's get into it. Before we get into the signs, I want to set the scene a little because I think it's important to acknowledge something first. DIY Instagram made complete sense when you started. In the early days of your business, doing everything for yourself wasn't just financially smart, it was necessary. You were building something from the ground up. You were figuring out your brand, your voice, and your clients. Managing your own Instagram was part of that process, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But businesses grow, and the things that made sense at the start of your journey don't always make sense at the level you're operating now. The strategies, the symptoms, and the team that you need to run a $50,000 a year business look very different from the ones you need to run a $300,000 plus per year business. But the problem is most business owners keep operating with the same Instagram approach they had at the beginning, even as everything else in their business has started to evolve. And that mismatch is exactly what creates the feeling that Instagram is harder than it should be. So let's talk about the signs. Sign number one is you're doing it in your personal time, not your business hours. This is one I hear most often, and it's usually the first sign that something needs to change. Your days are full. You're in back-to-back appointments, managing your team, running the actual business you built. So Instagram gets pushed to the bottom of the to-do list. You grab your phone at lunch and try to get a quick photo. You ask your team members to film something, and they do their best, but it never quite captures what you're going for. You tell yourself you'll sit down and do it properly tonight. And then tonight rolls around and you're exhausted, but you open Instagram anyway because you feel guilty that you haven't posted in a week. And before you know it, it's Sunday night and you're sitting on the couch writing captions when you should be watching Netflix with your partner or simply doing nothing at all. And here's the thing. When Instagram is consistently spilling into your personal time, it's no longer a business task. It's become a personal burden. And that's a sign your business has outgrown the DIY approach. Sign two is you're guessing more than you're strategizing. When you sit down to create content, what does that process actually look like? For most business owners managing their own Instagram, it goes a little something like this. Open Instagram, scroll through what your competitors are posting, find something that looks good, and try to recreate it. You pull together bits of advice from the 5 different marketing accounts you follow, hoping that something lands. There's no defined strategy behind it, no understanding of what each piece of content is supposed to do, who it's speaking to, or where that person is in their journey with your brand. It just feels like guesswork. Post and pray. Stay consistent and see what happens. And the honest thing I want to say here is that it's not your fault. You're an expert in your field. You're not a social media strategist, and expecting yourself to build and execute a sophisticated Instagram strategy on top of running an established business is an enormous ask. The fact that you've kept it going at all says a lot about how driven you are. But driven and strategic are 2 different things, and your business deserves both. Sign 3 is that the effort isn't matching the return. This is the sign that tends to sting the most. You're showing up, you're putting in the hours, you're posting consistently, and yet Instagram doesn't feel like it's actually doing much for your business. Some weeks you get inquiries, but then others, nothing. You can't identify what's working or why. You look at your analytics and you don't really know what you're looking at. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you're asking yourself, Is this actually moving the needle, or am I just posting for the sake of posting? Now, let me put this in perspective for you. If you're posting 3 to 4 times a week, and each piece of content is taking you roughly 1 to 2 hours from idea to posted, you're spending somewhere between 5 and 7 hours a week on Instagram. At a conservative estimate of around $150 per hour, that's between $750 and $1,050 of your own time every single week. Over a year, that adds up and is around $36,000 to $50,000 a year of your time. That's not a small investment, and if that investment is not generating consistent, qualified inquiries for your business, that's a sign that something structural needs to change. Sign number 4 is you resent it. Now, this one is harder to admit, but I think it's one of the most important signals of all. Cast your mind back to when you first started using Instagram for your business. There was probably some excitement there, the creative possibilities, the connections with potential clients, the feeling of building something new. And now fast forward to today. How do you feel when you think about Instagram, when it pops up on your to-do list? Is it something that you look forward to, or is it something that you secretly dread? For a lot of established business owners I speak to, the honest answer is resentment. It's a low level of frustration towards an app that feels like it's demanding constant attention without giving much back. And I want to gently point something out here. Resentment towards Instagram isn't a personality trait. It's a signal that your business is telling you it's time that this particular task has run its course in your hands and it's time to pass it on to somebody else. Sign number 5 is that your business has grown, but your Instagram hasn't kept up. This is perhaps the most telling sign of all. Your reputation is strong. Your clients love you. Your results speak for themselves. But when somebody finds you on Instagram for the very first time, does the profile they land on reflect the caliber of the business you're actually running? This is one of the most common gaps I see in established service businesses. The work is exceptional, but the Instagram looks like it belongs to a much earlier version of that business. And that gap between the reality of what you deliver and the impression your Instagram creates is costing you clients who find you online, take a look at your profile, and move on because it doesn't quite match the standard that they're looking for. Your Instagram should be growing with your business. And if it hasn't, that's a sign it needs more than you can give it right now. Now I want to address the thing that keeps most business owners stuck, even when they recognize every single one of those signs in themselves. That's the fear of handing over their brand voice. And I get it. That can feel really daunting. I hear consistently, Andrea, nobody will sound like me. I'm worried. I've spent years building my business reputation and I can't risk somebody else getting it wrong. And I want to be really honest with you here because I think this fear, while completely understandable, is based on a version of outsourcing that doesn't reflect how a premium agency actually works. So take, for example, our agency here at Andrea Marie Creative. Before we write a single word of content for a new client, we conduct what we call a strategic foundation session. It's a dedicated 60 to 90 minute deep dive into your brand, your ideal client, your tone of voice, your story, your language, and the things that make your business distinctly yours. We capture everything, the exact words and phrases your ideal clients use, the way you naturally explain what you do, the things you would never say, and the opinions that you hold that set you apart from everyone else in your niche. That session becomes the foundation that every single piece of content is built on. And then every piece of content gets sent to you for approval before it goes anywhere near your Instagram. You have full visibility and control, and nothing goes live without your sign off. In my experience, the fear of losing brand voice almost never comes true. What actually happens is the opposite, and clients tell us that the content sounds so much more like them than what they were creating themselves. And that's because it's built on a proper strategic foundation rather than a tired Sunday night and a blank computer screen. Now, let me give you a real example. A premium bridal agency came to us posting inconsistently without a clear strategy, mostly just resharing content from their talent team along with a few random posts in between. Their work was exceptional and their reputation in the industry was strong, but the founder just didn't have time to execute a strategy that reflected the caliber of their business. In the first 30 days, we shifted their presence completely from reactive, inconsistent posting to a structured, strategy-led account with reels designed to attract and qualify their ideal bride, visuals aligned with their premium brand, and clear calls to action driving people towards their booking page. And as a result, we achieved a 198% increase in Instagram followers month on month, more than 20,000 accounts reached, and over 39,000 impressions. Website traffic was up 80%, meaning it was turning passive scrollers into active inquiries. And here's what their founder had to say about the experience. She said, "Working with Andrea took a weight off my shoulders." She didn't talk about more followers or better reach. A weight off my shoulders. That is what it actually feels like when your business gets the strategy it deserves. Not loss of control, but relief, a weight lifted. So let me ask you something before we finish today. How many of those signs did you recognize in yourself? Are you doing Instagram in your personal time instead of your business hours? Are you guessing more than you're strategizing? Is the effort not matching the return? Do you find yourself resenting it? Has your business grown, but your Instagram stayed the same? If you nodded along to more than a couple of those, I want you to sit with this. Nothing changes if nothing changes. The cost of staying exactly where you are is not zero. It's the Sunday nights. It's the resentment. It's the potential clients who found someone else because their Instagram reflected the caliber of their business and yours didn't. Your business has outgrown a lot of things on its way to where it is today. And it's okay if it's outgrown DIY Instagram too. Now, before I wrap up, I want to leave you with two things. If you've been listening to this episode and you're not completely sure whether your Instagram is set up to actually generate inquiries, I want to invite you to take my free Instagram assessment. It takes less than 3 minutes and it'll show you exactly where the gaps are in your current strategy and what you should focus on first. The link for that is in the show notes. Go ahead and take it now while it's fresh in your mind. And if you're ready to stop figuring this out alone and you want a strategic partner who can take Instagram completely off your plate and turn it into a consistent inquiry channel for your business, I'd love to have a conversation. Book a free strategy call with me and we'll look at where you're at, where you want to be, and whether we're the right fit to work together. The link for that is also in the show notes. Thanks so much for tuning in today. If this episode resonated, take a screenshot and share it to your Instagram stories. Don't forget to tag me at Andrea Marie Creative because I love seeing who's listening and chatting with you over on Instagram. And if you haven't already, follow the show so that you never miss an episode. If you really want to make my day, you can leave a rating and review because it really helps the show to grow, reach more business owners, and impact more lives. Have an amazing week, and I'll catch you in the next one.